Welcome everyone to another entry in the Hyrule Compendium. Today we're taking a look at a topic from Corey Richmond. They wanted us to talk about our favorite villains in the Zelda series.
And we were kind of talking about this, and for a series that spans almost 20 plus games with the side games, there's not that many villains.
No.
Because Ganon, or Ganondorf, eats up like half of the games.
He dominates it.
Even a lot of the Zelda games where Ganon or Ganondorf is not the main villain, he becomes the villain at the end.
Well, we should talk about Ganon first, since he is the Zelda villain.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to even argue. You could argue that there are others that are greater than him, but his prominence overwhelms anything, I think.
I've always been a big fan of traditional Ganon.
Pig Ganon?
In particular, I always liked Pig Ganon from A Link to the Past. And I don't know if this counts, but I always liked Pig Ganon from the animated series.
He's so ridiculous.
Like humanoid Pig Ganon, if that makes any sense at all.
I love it's even in like the first episode. I think I recently watched a video, someone was talking about it, but where he's like showing the Stalfos how to fight.
Get them like this!
I always loved that Ganon. I kind of wish, instead of going the route of like humanoid Ganondorf, if they made just Ganon more humanoid.
Okay.
Because he's kind of human in that.
Yeah, he's like a human with a pig face, pig head. Yeah.
I never liked the Ocarina of Time or Ocarina of Time 3D Beast Ganon.
Yeah, I actually would lump them in with the design of Calamity Ganon, like when you're fighting him. They don't look necessarily the same, but they're both very blah to me. When I want to see Ganon, I want to see Pig Ganon. I'm okay with Dark Beast Ganon from like Breath of the Wild and Twilight Princess.
Okay.
But I much prefer a big blue pig.
Yeah. And his design in Four Swords Adventures is solid. And in the combined ending of Oracle of Ages and Seasons. Granted, that's like the last we've seen of Pig Ganon, I think.
I'm really partial to, there's some, I think is a Link to the Past artwork that has like scenes from the game. There's one of him and Link facing off, and he looks badass.
Yes.
That's the best way to describe it.
That is the Ganon.
Yeah.
In my opinion. What were your thoughts on Ganondorf, though?
That's kind of like the definitive game for me, Ocarina of Time. So I can't say like there was a time before Ganondorf and then Ganondorf was introduced. I've just always known him as that.
Got it. Okay.
So I like him. I think he's a cool character, especially going forward in the series. He was cool in Wind Waker. He was pretty awesome, like that scene in Twilight Princess where
he kills the sage.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Amazing.
I liked in Ocarina where they actually gave him more of a backstory that you could see on screen, not just read in the manual. He was kind of not really a bad-ish guy in Wind Waker. He kind of had like a moral dilemma, it looked like. Whereas Twilight Princess, he's pure evil.
Yeah. The thing with Wind Waker is, doesn't that whole backstory and stuff kind of only come at the end? That very end part?
Yeah, to an extent. He's
think
not really prevalent through much of the game.
I think it's interesting, but I don't think it's as cool. It's cool, but it's not as cool as certain people make it out to be.
Okay.
Like that he's like this well-developed.
Oh, no, he's definitely not well-developed.
Yeah, I think some people treat it like, well, he's got this super well-developed backstory. It's like, well, he has like a little monologue in the end of the game.
I feel like Ganon has never had a well-developed backstory in any game. Because he's never like prevalent throughout the entirety of a game. Ocarina is the closest to it.
Ocarina, I think, is the best Ganondorf story.
When you think of the scenes that involve Ganondorf, there's the intro scene, but that's the same as the one where you first, after you get the 3 pendants, basically.
Sure.
There's when you meet Zelda for the first time, you look out the window and you see him kneeling to the king. That's more or less all you see of. You sort of get, like with Phantom Ganon, a little bit of Ganon in there,
You do see, though, like, everywhere you go, when you talk to people, they're like, Ganon came here and did this.
Right,
So
that's
at least you kind of see... I mean, I'm sure they do that in the other games, but I feel like you feel it more in this one.
You feel his presence, but you don't see it.
There's one other thing with Ganon to throw in there, and that's Aghanim.
Of course. This is one of those ones where you don't really know the story unless you read, like, the 8 pages of in the manual. Aghanim was kind of cool, but he's just one of those characters that in-game you barely see him.
Yeah.
I mean, you see him in the intro scene, and then you see him when you fight him. Mm-hmm. And then you fight him again. Vaati, I never really cared for Vaati much.
I think his design is cool. Like, his humanoid form is cool. It's cool that he's got a little niche carved out, too. He's in a couple games, but, you know, it might have to do with the game not, like, fully speaking to me, you know? Like,
yeah.
I like all those games, but I don't love them. Like,
you kind of dismiss Four Swords and Four Swords Adventures.
Yeah.
You know, in even Four Swords Adventures, Ganon's the end battle at the end. So...
Vaati is cool enough, though, that he could come back in another game and be like, oh, cool.
I like Vaati's standalone story in Minish Cap.
Yeah.
I think it gets tainted a little bit by the inclusion of Four Swords Adventures. So do you want to see more Ganon going forward?
More Ganon.
We took a long break from Ganon. From Twilight Princess till Breath of the Wild.
If there is this speculated handheld game, if that's the next game, I'd like to see maybe a new one-off villain.
Yeah.
Or the return of Vaati.
The return of...
Like, get a good Vaati story. He's not someone who I particularly care about, but I think he's earned it. he deserves a push.
Okay. You deserve it.